Hey guys, welcome back for an episode of the 2-Minute Warning. I'm Blake Showalter.
And I'm Beto Vacadillas.
And we have an absolutely loaded episode today, man. So much going on in the world of sports, but starting off, huge fight this weekend, UFC 285. Jon Jones at heavyweight now after nearly 3 years out of the octagon, going up against Ciryl Gane. Going to be an amazing fight, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this one. Jon Jones is the undisputed GOAT of the UFC, the greatest fighter to ever grace the octagon, coming up to heavyweight as he teased in 2013. We've had to wait 10 long years for Jon Jones to fulfill his promise, but hey, he's here now, and he's fighting Ciryl Gane. A great matchup stylistically. Ciryl Gane, a devastating striker, super athletic, super shifty, super quick. Jon Jones, as we know, is a great striker. He's unique, he's wild, he's dexterous. He can use every single part of his body to strike, and so I think it'll be really interesting how he matches up with Ciryl Gane in the striking, how the time off affects him, and how his wrestling can compete with Ciryl Gane. As we know, he was taken down by Francis Ngannou. So I just think it'll be interesting to see how Jon Jones applies himself at heavyweight, and if everything transfers over. I think Jon Jones, if everything transfers over, he's going to wipe the floor with Ciryl Gane. I'm really excited for this fight.
Yeah, man, and he's taken 2 long years putting on that size for heavyweight, looking absolutely massive right now. Word out of his camp is that he looks just as light and fast as he did at light heavyweight as well. So if he really does bring that Ciryl Gane, I think it is going to be a striking matchup because Jon Jones, as he's notorious for, likes to fight to what his opponent is best at stylistically. So, I mean, look at what he did against DC. DC's an Olympic wrestler, and Jon Jones took him down. I mean, Ciryl Gane is so good on his feet, so unique, has really good kicks, really good setups, and I think Jon Jones is going to try to outclass him in the striking department, and I think he might just do that, man.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Jon Jones, I could definitely see it, like you said, like a knockout, especially with this new power that heavyweight could bring, but I could also see him getting knocked out himself because of the heavyweight power that Ciryl Gane brings. But I think that if Jon Jones decides to take this fight to the ground, where he's best at comparatively to Ciryl Gane, I think this won't even be close. I think it'll be within 3 rounds. Jon Jones will get the finish on the ground if he decides to take it that way, and if not, I think decision, Jon Jones.
Yeah, but real quick, I like what you said about that heavyweight power with Ciryl Gane. Jon Jones has never really tasted heavyweight power to cite DC, but DC was cutting down to light heavyweight. But it's going to be interesting to see how we can eat those punches at heavyweight because it's a different ball game getting hit by those heavyweights, man.
Yeah, for real. This is a perfect way to end one of the most stacked cards I personally have ever seen in a UFC card. Like, looking at it, Jon Jones, of course, and Ciryl Gane, the main event. Next up, Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. That is going to be a great fight.
Yeah, Shevchenko, in my opinion, is the absolutely undisputed women's GOAT. Almost at heavyweight there, talking about Jon Jones so much. She is the women's GOAT, in my opinion, man. I mean, I like Amanda Nunes a lot, but after that last loss, Shevchenko, I think, is just a more dominant fighter. Yeah, she looked a little rough in her last fight, but I think that was an off fight for her. I think she's going to come out in this fight and prove why she is the best of all time.
Yeah, she's amazing watching Shevchenko fight. She's so dynamic. She can wrestle. She can strike better than anyone in the flyweight division. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think Shevchenko's going to get a knockout over Grasso. Grasso might stand and try to strike with her, try to take her down. Shevchenko's just better in every facet of MMA. So I'm really excited. I think Shevchenko's going to come away with a win here.
Yeah, the next up on this card, a fight that I am most looking forward to, yes, most looking forward to, even over Jon Jones, is Bo Nickal, man. I've been watching this kid since he's been a wrestler at Penn State, 3-time national champion, really good on the world stage as far as wrestling goes as well, and now he's making the transition to MMA, looked really, really good in his amateur fights, and to my surprise, has really, really heavy hands. And so it's going to be interesting to see what he does against Jamie Pickett, who, Jamie Pickett, not very good to be honest. I feel like they're kind of feeding him to a lion in Bo Nickal, man. Starting the card off with a bang. I think Bo Nickal's going to get a very early finish, whether that's submission or a knockout, but that fight's not going out of a round, in my opinion.
No, not at all. The question here is not if Bo Nickal can finish the fight, it's how quickly, because Bo Nickal in the Contender Series was ragdolling opponents and even finished a fight inside of a minute, and so I don't think this fight is going to be any different. I would put money on Bo Nickal coming out with a win inside of a round, because this guy can do it all. Like you mentioned, heavy hands, phenomenal wrestling, and even great jiu-jitsu he displayed, so I'm really excited for this fight, along with the other fights on this card that just look absolutely impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bo Nickal might be a future champion, in my opinion. But moving on, staying on the course of fighting, Jake Fraud got pieced up by Tommy Fury. You love to see it, man. And if you think Jake Paul won that fight, you're either 12 years old and subscribe to his YouTube channel, or you just don't know boxing at all. Tommy Fury absolutely dominated that fight, except for that last little knockdown in the end. We're not going to worry about that, though. Tommy Fury was off balance. Jake Paul just caught him. Didn't really hurt him for real, but Tommy Fury gets the win there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, watching the fight, I was rather bored. And the whole time I was saying, why isn't this MMA? Because, as we know, MMA is better than boxing, but we won't get into that. I was watching it as Jake Paul looked decent, Tommy looked decent, but you can tell they were novices. They were not professionals. The hits weren't as hard as we would have anticipated. And with all the trash talk leading up to this fight, it was really a letdown, as they were just jabbing and clinching the whole fight. And so maybe there's a rematch in the future. I think it was competitive enough to warrant a rematch, even though I do think think Tommy won by unanimous decision. I think it'll be one to look forward to, and Jake Paul is growing in skills, so maybe something to look forward to in his future. But YouTube boxing, I mean, is as entertaining as I can't even say it. Just MMA, so much better by far than boxing.
Yeah, they're both saying they're going to do a rematch. I think Tommy Fury pieces him up again. I mean, I like what you said, though, about them both being amateur fighters. I mean, Tommy Fury, yes, he's undefeated. He won against no-name fighters, man. I think the record against his opposing fighters was like 8-24, that being the record of his opponents. So not really too much to brag about if you're Tommy Fury. You beat up a YouTuber, and that's pretty much all you can say. But moving on, we got more to talk about. We got the MLB and that pitch clock situation. Yes, it's making the game faster, more enjoyable for the fans, but it's not the way the game was supposed to be played. A lot of issues going around with the pitchers getting ready, also the batters getting ready in the box. As you know, I mean, in the past, they used to take like 2 hours getting their gloves ready and stuff like that, which everybody hates, but baseball's a mental game, and it takes a lot of time to get your mind right, especially when you're in a big situation. And you saw a couple times in the ninth inning with the bases loaded, games being ended off of people not getting in the batter's box on time or pitchers not throwing the ball on time. So a lot of adjustments need to be done, being that they're going to be using this pitch clock the entire length of the season this year. But I don't really like it, man. A lot of people don't like it either.
Yeah, it just feels unnatural for the game of baseball. I feel like the game of baseball has to have that little bit of slowness to it. The way that the pitcher sets up, the way the batter sets up, it's all part of the game, especially whenever the coaches are giving signs to the batters, giving signs to the pitchers. So I don't like it personally. I think it could change, but who knows? Maybe the fans will win in the end and overthrow the organization, but we'll see. It's a long season.
I don't think the fans like it either, though. There are some new fans, and that's the whole thing. The MLB has been losing younger fans to football, basketball, and more higher-paced sports and stuff like that. So right now, the main audience for baseball is older, and MLB is really trying to get to that younger audience, and I really don't think the way to do that is making the game faster with pitch clocks and stuff like that. But I guess we're going to have to deal with it for the entire season this year. Hopefully they get rid of it next season, but who knows? Maybe I'll eat my words, and they'll be great. But moving on, we have the MLS, and I guess I'm going to be talking a little bit about this one. I guess we won't be arm wrestling in the background, Jeffrey, but unfortunately, Jeffrey's throwing his hat down right now. But St. Louis City's first inaugural game, they win 3-2. Great game there, man.
Yeah, really good game. As we know, St. Louis, they battled through adversity. Did you watch the game?
I did actually watch the game.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I watched the highlight reels. But anyway, yeah, great way to end that game. You were telling me that Austin messed up on that last play. They gave the ball away, and we just put it in and scored, which I love to see. To me, it just looked like soccer. I mean, I don't really know what's going on, to be honest. But we won. That's all I know, and that's great.
Yeah, I was really happy to see St. Louis come out there. Brand new club, inaugural game, comes in against a semifinalist contender last year in Austin, and wins in dramatic 3-2 fashion. So that's something that really raises the hearts of all St. Louis people. And Nashville, opener and the new black kits that we have just looked absolutely stellar out there. A 2-0 win. Hani Mukhtar comes on, gets an assist, hoping to go for back-to-back MVPs. MLS is looking great right now. I'm really happy that soccer's back in the United States.
Yeah, I didn't really know what I was looking at, but if Beto says it looks great, it looks great, guys. But lastly, we had the NBA and Damian Lillard, who in my opinion is the most underrated superstar in the entire league, put up a 70 bomb last night, man.
Yeah, 71-point game. He now has 5 career 60-plus point games, and he's one behind Kobe Bryant. One behind Kobe Bryant. That's insane.
Nobody talks about him.
Nobody talks about it. I think he's getting finally the respect he deserves. But I think he should be thrown in more in the MVP conversation, and even that's maybe even top 1 point guard in the league. Obviously, we have Steph Curry, so we can't put that in there. But over him, Steph and Kyrie, I think Dame is the guy. He is the one that you want on your team. He is the guy who makes a difference. And MVP, it would not seem crazy to me if Damian Lillard got his name thrown out in there, not only because of this performance, but he also had another 60-point game this season. This guy's been playing great, and he's one of the most lethal shooters in the NBA. Put some respect on Dame's name. He is amazing.
He carries his team. I mean, he's been on the same team for a long time now, and he carries them every single year. Yes, they have not won a championship, which is obviously a huge talking point on why Dame isn't talked about a lot more. They don't really go to the playoffs that often, or when they do, they don't really make a very deep run. But Damian Lillard is an absolute dog and needs to be respected, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I love Damian Lillard. He is an amazing man. He's just phenomenal at the game of basketball. So there's nothing more to say. He's amazing.
Then last will be the XFL. Not going to go into too much depth about every single team, but we are going to talk about the Battlehawks. Another come-from-behind game for them. They're 2-0 right now. AJ McCarron looking about as good as his wife out there on the field. I'd love to see it. Another great win. What do you think about that, man?
Yeah, just an absolute dogs in this team. They battled through adversity in the first half, down by 4 points going in, and as we know, that's a tight game in XFL. And so it was interesting to see how these guys adjusted and battled back. Really entertaining game to watch, really back and forth, and it ultimately came down to that game-winning drive. Like you said, AJ McCarron putting the team on his back. Sea Dragons, great team. They're 0-2. We're 2-0. Second in our division, only to the DC Defenders. So I'm really excited to see this team, how it is going forward. And whenever we play the Defenders, I'm really excited to see who's going to win that.
Yeah, the Sea Dragons aren't too bad. They're ranked 5th right now after that loss to us, that being the Battlehawks. But just to quickly go through the standings right now, CBS puts them out every single week. Right now, it's the Defenders still holding that 1 spot, and the Roughnecks holding that 2 spot. Battlehawks, our Battlehawks, at the 3 spot. Number 4, the Renegades, who dropped 2 spots to their loss this weekend. Then we also have the Sea Dragons, who just lost to us, as we just talked about. Then we had the Vipers, and then lastly, the worst team in the entire league, the Guardians.
Yeah, looking forward into Sunday, the Battlehawks do play the Defenders. And so if we win, we take the number 1 seed not only in our conference, but in the whole league in terms of power rankings. So I'm really excited to see this game. The Battlehawks have always been entertaining, but I think this game is really going to blow the roof off the place.
Going to be a huge game there. Definitely going to be watching that one, and you should be too. But that's all I have for this episode, man. You have anything else?
I'm all good.
Well, this has been the 2-Minute Warning. I'm Blake Showalter.
And I'm Beto Vacadillas.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure to follow us on Instagram on the 2-Minute Warning with an underscore on it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel down below. Also, follow us at the Southeast Arrow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want to do. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you guys next time.